is up, all my dorks, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's your host, Ghost here, and you're watching a brand new episode of Dorks Movie Minute. Today we're going to be discussing and reviewing the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 1 and 2, or Chapter 1 and 2, whatever you prefer to call it, because it is the Book of Boba Fett, so it is chapters. But Chapter 1, we start off... Before we even get started, I gotta say, first, right off the bat, I was actually really hyped for this series. And then after watching Episode 1 and 2, that hype kind of definitely faded a little bit. Because it wasn't as strong as The Mandalorian I thought was, and I really enjoyed The Mandalorian. I didn't even think it was as strong as like a Star Wars Visions or something like that, because I really did enjoy that as well, from LucasArts and all that stuff. But we're going to hop right in so we can see, and we're going to talk about it, so stay tuned. Here we go, guys. We're just going to hop right in. So we start off with a flashback of Jango Fett's death of Attack of the Clones in the pit, not the Sarlacc pit, but the arena that they fought in Attack of the Clones, where all of the Jedi were attacked and all that stuff. We then cut to Boba stuck in the Sarlacc pit. He uses a stormtrooper helmet and his air supply to make a flamethrower with it, and it was a very epic, actually a very epic opening scene to get out, and he burns it alive, and then he, cuts himself out and gets out. At that point, he's really burned from the acid of the Sarlacc pit, so his face is all scarred up and everything else. His armor's gone. He basically gets out of it, and then as soon as he's out of it, he collapses from pain. And at that point, he gets robbed by some Jawas, which is actually really funny, because that's what Jawas do. They just show up and rob you of everything, and then they leave, and that's literally what Jawas do. So yeah, then he gets, after getting robbed, he then gets left there with no clothes. Then Jawas take all his clothes, all his weapons, all his armors, everything like that. At that point, he then gets taken in by the Sand People as their slave. So yeah, he has to find them water, he has to work in the fields for them, he has to break rocks, he has to earn his keep to live among the Sand People, or the Tusken Raiders, whatever you guys want to call them. I call them the Sand People, because that's just always what I call them. But they are called the Tusken Tusken Raiders as well, if you're a true Star Wars fan. So yeah, you know who I'm talking about. So yeah, then he eventually shows his fighting skills to one of the elders. He tries to fight out with his staff, and they have the staff battle, and he basically proves himself to the elders that he can fight and defend himself, that he can be a soldier if need be. He doesn't have to be this just pure hard labor sort of slave that they have. We then cut to present day, where Boba rules over Bib Fortuna and sits on the throne of Jabba the Hutt, which we saw at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, where he was basically rising to power and helping the Mandalorian to get to where he needs to be, as long as Mando helped Boba Fett as well get to where he wants to be in the criminal underground world. So yeah. But yeah, basically him being the leader, meeting royal guards and allies, and all these other things, another bounty hunter getting attacked by other bounty hunters. Basically, he fights them off. This whole group attacks him and his partner. They end up fighting him off, but one of them, most of them run away, so they don't get captured. But one does end up getting captured by his female ally, and then they find out that he ties to the mayor of the town. The mayor has sent this guy to go after him for whatever reason, which leads to the bigger mystery of what's going on and who's the true leader around these parts of town. So yeah, we cut back to Boba. Being forced to dig water by the Sand People, but then this giant beast attacks. Boba kills the beast, and then basically that's how he got his rise in the Sand People of the Tusken Raiders, how he was able to communicate with the elders and to basically make his own points in the tribes. So that's episode 1. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was pretty solid. A little boring for my taste. Not a whole lot of written dialogue. A lot of it is acted and sounds and music and everything else. Just not a whole lot of words. And for that, it can make something like that in a Star Wars universe drag a bit. But that's just my opinion, so that's why I gave it a 7 out of 10. Still a very solid episode. Good effects, good character development, but still just a little slightly boring. Moving on to episode 10, and that's going to be a trend for this series, 100%. It's not my favorite Star Wars series by a long shot. Doesn't make it bad, but it's just not my favorite. So moving on to the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 2, this one was slightly better, but still a little boring. We get the prisoner from last episode getting questioned, but will not crack, so they basically drop him into the, not the Sarlacc pit, but the, Rancor pit. Drops him in the Rancor pit, Nothing, and he's all scared, he's freaking out, and they're saying, you better tell us before the Rancor shows up. And he basically, he snaps and he ends up telling him everything, and then he realizes, oh crap, this Rancor pit's empty. But yeah, that's it. Boba ends up confronting the mayor about why he sent those assassins from last episode to jump him and his partner. And he basically tells them that the mayor says he has his own leads and that he's got his own problems to deal with, and that he had to know that he was strong enough to be able to lead this town and everything like that.
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we want?
We then meet the twins, which are Jabba the Hutt's cousins in some way. They're two Jabba twins. And they're basically were promised to run this town after the death of Bib Fortuna, after the death of Jabba the Hutt. So yeah, they're basically there, and they're telling them they want to run this town, and that they're going to send Black Khazar. I'm going to say that wrong, but the Black Wookiee, he's got the bandolier on, and he's from the gladiator pits, and he's very aggressive. He's an awesome character. I believe he actually originated from the comics, if I'm not mistaken. But I know for a fact that he was in the Clone Wars a couple of episodes, or it could have been Rebels, but he was in one of the animated shows as well. And now they brought him into the live action, which we see a lot of in this series. Out of all the Star Wars shows, this one brings the most out of the cartoons and the comic books into the live action. So it's very cool to see some of the things they've done so far on this series, that being one of them. So yeah. But yeah, he basically gets threatened by the Black Khazar, or Khazar, however you say his name, the Black Wookiee, and he's basically told that if he doesn't listen to the Hutts, that he's going to be sent after him, and that's going to be that. Boba basically says that he's not going to back down, and that it's his town, and that he's going to do what he has to run this and to hold on to what he owns. So they basically retreat for now, and then we get Boba Fett learning how to fight with the bow, with the big stick that he has that he was fighting earlier at the Sand People. And basically then we get him going on this big adventure with the other Sand People to rob some speeders. Once they get the speeders, they're going to end up robbing this train, and there's this big train heist with the Sand People after he teaches them how to drive and all this. But yeah, they basically end up capturing the train and stopping it and getting all that they need from it.
Boba Fett original series streaming December 29th.
Basically, after that, he becomes a full-fledged member of the Tusken Riders, and they accept him from that point on. And then the episode ends with them celebrating around the fire in a very Star Wars way. You know, you hear the, and the music playing, and they're all dancing, and they're all very happy for Boba Fett joining the crew of the Tusken Raiders. So yeah, very solid start to episodes 1 and 2. Episode 2 got an 8 out of 10, a little bit better than the 7 out of 10 on episode 1. But yeah, still a little bit boring. Still not quite pushing that Star Wars envelope as much as I want to see it pushed. And still retreading storylines we've already seen in this universe and in this world. So yeah, still a little interested in where they take the next episodes, but I'm not on the edge of my seat waiting for the next episode to drop. So that's just my opinion, guys, on the Book of Boba Fett, chapters 1 and 2. Let me know down below what you guys thought of chapters 1 and 2. Did you enjoy them as much as I did, or less than I did, or more than I did? Let me know down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, or share, and as always, guys, keep it right here on Dorks Den. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios.